You know, I had a strange feeling yesterday.
A strange feeling. Like bad strange or just weird?
Just unexpected. I was sitting at my desk, looking at my schedule for the month. Everything was completely fine on paper. Work was fine, life was quiet, and then this random thought hit me.
What thought?
Is this it?
Oh, wow. That line, is this it? I know that feeling. It's like you're doing everything you're supposed to do, but you still feel totally lost.
Exactly. And the weird part is, nothing was actually wrong. I wasn't in danger, I wasn't fired. I just felt like I was driving a car with no GPS, hoping I'd magically land somewhere good.
Wait, that happens to you too? Because honestly, I thought I was the only one who felt like that. Everyone on social media seems so sure of themselves. They have 5-year plans, they're buying houses or switching careers like it's nothing. And I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing next Tuesday.
Right. We look around and think everyone else received a manual for adulthood that we somehow missed. Seriously, where was that manual distributed? Because I definitely didn't get one. Me neither. But I spent last night talking to an old friend, someone who looks like they have everything completely under control. And do you know what she told me?
What?
She said, I wake up at least once a week feeling completely directionless.
No way.
Her? But she just got that huge promotion. I know. And that's when I realized something really interesting about feeling lost.
What's that?
Maybe feeling lost isn't a sign that you're failing at life. Maybe it's a sign of something else entirely different. Wait, what do you mean? Well, think about what happens when you get lost on a road trip. It usually happens because you took a wrong turn or you entered a completely new area that isn't on your map anymore.
Right. That makes sense.
It doesn't mean your car is broken. It just means your old map doesn't work for where you are today.
Huh. That's actually a really interesting way to look at it. So feeling lost isn't a failure, it's just outgrowing your old map?
Exactly. When we're younger, life gives us a very clear map, right? Finish school, get a job, save money. You just follow the instructions on autopilot.
Autopilot. Oh man, I lived on autopilot for my entire 20s. You just wake up, go to work, scroll through your phone, sleep, and repeat.
And it works for a while, until one day you check off all the boxes on that list and you pause and think, wait, who decided this was what I wanted?
Yeah. You reach the destination on the map, look around, and think, why am I standing in an empty parking lot?
Exactly. That moment of feeling lost, it's actually your real self waking up. It's your mind saying, hey, the old map is finished. It's time to design your own.
That honestly makes me feel so much better. Because when that feeling hit me last week, I panicked. I thought I was having a major crisis.
It's totally normal. It's not a crisis, it's a realignment, a moment to stop and figure out what actually matters to you.
So, how do you even start making a new map when you have no idea where you want to go?
That's the big trap, right? We think we need to draw the entire map before we take a single step. We tell ourselves, I can't move until I know my ultimate life purpose.
Guilty. That is literally me. I feel like if I don't have a full 5-year plan, I shouldn't move at all.
Right. But real navigation doesn't work like that. Think about driving at night in the fog. Your headlights only cover about 50 feet in front of you, right?
Yeah, just a short distance.
But you can drive all the way across the country just seeing those 50 feet at a time.
Whoa. Okay, that's actually a great image. So you don't need to see the whole journey, just the next 50 feet?
Exactly. And honestly, when you have no idea where to go, the easiest way to start is with what you don't want.
Wait, start with what I hate?
Yeah, imagine going to a restaurant with a massive menu. There are 100 dishes, and you have no idea what you're in the mood for. What do you do first?
Hmm. Well, I don't eat seafood, so I instantly cross off all the fish dishes. And I don't want anything super heavy, so I skip the fried stuff?
Right. You don't panic. You just eliminate choices. And suddenly, you aren't looking at 100 options anymore. You're looking at three or four.
So every time I tried a job or a path in life and hated it, it wasn't a waste of time?
It was just crossing seafood off your menu. It's data. You were just narrowing down what actually fits you.
That honestly changes how I view my past. I was treating my old choices like wasted years.
Nothing is wasted if it gives you data. But there's another piece to this that took me a really long time to understand.
What's that?
We usually think clarity comes before action. We sit on our couch and say, once I figure out my path, then I'll start moving.
Yeah, isn't that how it's supposed to work? You figure out the destination first, then you pack your bags?
It sounds logical, right? But in real life, it's almost always the opposite. Clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from action, usually tiny, small actions.
Wait, so you have to move before you know where you're going? That feels kind of scary.
It is. But think about it like this. If you sit in a parked car and turn the steering wheel, nothing happens. You can turn it left, turn it right, but you don't go anywhere. You can't feel the road.
Right, because the car isn't moving.
Exactly. But the second the car starts rolling, even just 5 miles an hour, suddenly turning the wheel actually changes your direction. You get feedback from the road.
Feedback from the road. I like that. So taking a tiny step gives you feedback on whether it feels right or wrong?
Precisely. You don't need to quit your job or move to a new city tomorrow. You just pick one tiny experiment that makes you even slightly curious. Read a book about a random topic. Try a new hobby for 2 weeks. Talk to someone doing a job you're curious about.
And if I don't like it?
Then you cross another dish off your menu. You learn something valuable about yourself without risking everything.
Okay, that takes a lot of pressure off. I always thought every decision had to be this huge, life changing commitment.
Right. We make every choice feel like a life sentence, when really most choices are just tiny experiments.
So, what if someone is so overwhelmed that even picking a tiny experiment feels impossible?
That's so real. When you're totally overwhelmed, even choosing what to have for dinner feels like a heavy decision. So if you're in that stage, you don't even try to pick a new direction yet. You lower the bar completely.
Lower the bar? Like, lower your expectations?
Exactly. Instead of asking, what should I do with my career or what is my life purpose? You bring your focus down to the next couple of hours. What is one small thing that would make you feel 5% more grounded today?
5%? That's surprisingly specific, and honestly, much less intimidating than trying to fix my whole life by Friday.
Right. It could be something as simple as going for a 20-minute walk without your phone, or cleaning off your desk, or making a decent cup of coffee in the morning instead of rushing out the door.
Wait, does making coffee really help you figure out your life direction?
Indirectly, yes. Because when you feel lost, what you've actually lost is trust in yourself. You feel like you aren't in control of your own ship. Doing one tiny thing you actually chose to do rebuilds that trust. It proves to your brain that you still have agency.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's like you're showing up for yourself in small ways before you try to tackle the huge stuff?
Precisely. You build momentum through tiny promises kept. And once you feel a little less anxious, your mind naturally starts opening up to curiosity again.
So curiosity comes after calm?
100%. When your nervous system is in panic mode, your brain only cares about safety. It isn't looking for adventure or creative passion. It just wants to feel secure.
That makes so much sense. When I was panicking last week, someone asked me, "What are you passionate about?" And I honestly wanted to throw my phone across the room. I was like, I'm passionate about survival right now.
Right. Asking someone who feels lost, "What is your passion?" is terrible advice. Passion is heavy. Passion feels like a high stakes exam. Curiosity, on the other hand, curiosity is lightweight.
Lightweight curiosity. I like that phrase. So instead of asking, what is my passion? What should I ask myself?
Just ask, what am I slightly curious about right now? Not what could become a career, not what could make you famous. Just what topic made you pause for 5 seconds when you saw it online?
Okay, so for example, I was watching a video on furniture restoration last night. I have zero plans to become a carpenter, but I just found it really relaxing and cool.
That's a breadcrumb.
A breadcrumb?
Yeah, like in fairy tales where people drop tiny pieces of bread to find their path through the woods. Curiosity works the exact same way. You don't need a whole highway. You just follow one tiny breadcrumb to the next.
Wait, but what if I follow that breadcrumb for a week and then lose interest? Doesn't that mean I wasted my time?
Not at all. You don't eat every single thing you sample at a supermarket, right? Sampling is how you figure out what you actually like. Exactly. Sampling isn't committing. When you sample cheese at a grocery store, nobody expects you to buy the whole wheel.
True. Although, if it's really good cheese, I might.
Fair point. But you get what I mean, right? We have this strange rule in our heads that says if I start something, I have to stick with it forever. And if we stop after 2 weeks, we immediately feel like quitters.
Oh, absolutely. I bought an acoustic guitar 3 years ago because I thought, this is it. I'm going to learn music. I practiced for 2 weeks, got blisters on my fingers, and now it's basically a very expensive piece of room decoration. And honestly, every time I look at it, I feel a little bit guilty.
Right. You look at the guitar and think, I failed. But what if you reframe that? You didn't fail at music. You just ran a 2-week experiment and discovered that playing guitar isn't for you.
Huh. So the guitar didn't waste my money? It just bought me an answer?
Exactly. Now you don't have to spend the next 10 years wondering, what if I learned guitar? You tried it, you got your answer. You can cut yourself some slack and move on without the guilt.
That honestly makes me feel so much better about that dusty guitar in my corner. So, if we stop feeling guilty about changing directions, what's the actual key to finding a clear path?
It comes down to one simple shift in how you talk to yourself when you feel lost.
What shift?
You stop asking, why am I so behind? And you start asking, whose map was I using in the first place?
Whose map? Wait, what do you mean by that?
Most of the pressure we feel in our 20s and 30s, it isn't even ours. We pick it up along the way from parents, friends, social media, or just society in general. We absorb all these unspoken rules about where we're supposed to be by a certain age.
Oh, man. Yeah. I should have a stable career by 25. I should own a place by 30. I have that list running in my head constantly.
Exactly. And when your life doesn't match that invisible checklist, your brain panics and tells you that you're lost. But you aren't actually lost. You're just trying to navigate your life using someone else's coordinates.
Huh? honestly hits really hard. Because when I think about the things stressing me out, half of them are things I don't even personally care about. I just thought I was supposed to care about them.
Right. So the real shift is letting go of the shoulds. Before you try to figure out what you want to add to your life, you have to throw away what doesn't belong to you anymore. It's like cleaning out a cluttered closet.
You can't fit anything new inside until you make some space.
Precisely. Once you drop those expectations, the fog starts to clear. You aren't comparing your timeline to 8 billion other people anymore. You're just standing on your own ground, looking at your own next step.
That sounds incredibly peaceful, honestly. A little scary, but peaceful.
It is scary at first, because when you drop the old map, you're standing in the open field for a moment. But that open field, that's where your real life actually begins.
Standing in the open field. That sounds poetic. But if I'm being honest, standing in an open field without a map still sounds a little terrifying.
It is terrifying because for most of our lives, someone always handed us the next page. School gave us the syllabus, jobs gave us the job description. And then suddenly, you reach adulthood, look around, and there's no teacher telling you what chapter comes next.
Yeah, exactly. You're just standing there holding a completely blank piece of paper.
But a blank piece of paper isn't a test you failed. It's just an invitation. It means for the first time in your life, you get to write something that actually belongs to you.
I never thought about it like that. So if someone listening to us right now is sitting on the bus or making dinner, feeling completely lost, what's the one thing they should take away today?
Just remember that you aren't broken. You aren't behind in life. You're just in the middle of updating your map. And it's completely okay if today your headlights only light up the next 50 feet.
Just 50 feet. Take one small action, follow a tiny breadcrumb of curiosity, and see how the road feels under your feet.
That's really all it takes. And maybe ask yourself tonight, whose expectations have you been carrying around that aren't even yours?
Oh, I definitely have a few of those I need to throw out. Starting with the guilt over that acoustic guitar in the corner of my room.
Hey, keep the guitar. Just stop feeling guilty about the experiment.
Deal. So, if I wake up tomorrow morning and that familiar heavy feeling comes back, what's the very first thing I should do?
Don't grab your phone.
Oof. You had to call me out on that immediately, didn't you?
I say that because I used to do it every single day. The moment we wake up and scroll through other people's lives, we immediately adopt their maps again. We see someone's new job, someone's vacation, someone's perfect morning, and instantly our brain goes, look how far behind you are.
Yeah. It happens before my feet even touch the floor. It's like I invite all the noise of the world into my mind at 6 in the morning.
Right. So tomorrow, give yourself the first 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Drink a glass of water. Look out the window. Make your bed. Give your brain a small win before you let the world tell you what you should care about.
10 minutes of peace before the noise. I can actually do that.
And whenever you feel lost during the day, just pause and ask yourself a very simple question.
Well, question.
What is the next right thing for the next 5 minutes? Not for the next 5 years, just the next 5 minutes.
What is the next right thing? I like that. That turns a massive, overwhelming mountain into just one small step.
And here's the really interesting thing about that 5-minute rule. It breaks the momentum of feeling stuck.
Breaks the momentum. Yeah. Because when you're feeling lost, that stuck feeling has its own heavy momentum, doesn't it? You sit on the couch, think about all your life problems, get more stressed, and then you just stay on the couch.
Exactly. It's like a loop. I remember a few months ago, I was supposed to draft this really important proposal for a project. I had no idea where to start. I was overthinking every single sentence before I even opened my laptop.
Oh, the classic blank screen paralysis. I know that one way too well.
Right. So I finally told myself, okay, I'm not going to write the actual proposal. I'm just going to open a blank page and write 3 terrible sentences. Just complete garbage.
Wait, you intentionally tried to write bad sentences?
Intentionally terrible. Because once the page wasn't blank anymore, the pressure was gone. And 20 minutes later, the draft was done. And it was actually totally fine.
That's so smart. So you lowered the stakes so much that your brain stopped freaking out.
Precisely. When you lower the stakes, you give yourself permission to just start.
Lower the stakes. That phrase right there. I think I need to frame that on my wall. Because most of us feel lost simply because we set the stakes so ridiculously high for every single choice we make, for every single choice we make.
We really do, don't we? We treat every decision like it's written in stone. Like if you pick a direction, try a new habit, or take a step in a new career and it doesn't work out, you've somehow ruined your life.
Yes, exactly. It feels like if I commit to something, I'm signing a contract for the next 10 years. So if I'm not 100% sure it's the perfect choice, I just stand completely still.
Right. But what if, instead of writing everything in stone, we started writing our choices in pencil?
In pencil?
Yeah. Think about pencil marks. You can draw a line, look at it, and if you don't like where it goes, you just erase it and try another line. It's not permanent. It's just a rough draft.
A rough draft.
Oh, wow. I think I've been trying to publish the final version of my life on the very first try.
Almost everyone does. We expect ourselves to have final draft clarity when we're still in the rough draft phase of figuring things out. When you accept that today is just a rough draft, taking a small step isn't terrifying anymore. It's just an experiment.
That actually makes me feel like I can breathe again. So if someone is listening right now and feeling completely stuck in that high stakes mindset, how do they switch to pencil?
You start by asking yourself one simple question when you face a choice.
What question is that?
What is the lowest stakes way I can test this idea today?
The lowest stakes way. I really like that phrase because my default setting is always go big or go home. If I want to start reading more, I buy 10 books. If I want to get fit, I buy a full gym membership before I even go for a walk.
Right. We make the entry barrier so ridiculously high that we talk ourselves out of even starting. So low stakes testing is the exact opposite. It means lowering the barrier until it's almost impossible to fail.
So, if someone feels stuck and wants to explore a new career path, what does a low stakes test look like?
Well, you don't quit your job tomorrow, and you don't sign up for a 2-year degree either. You spend 30 minutes on a Saturday watching a beginner tutorial online. Or you message someone doing that job and ask, could I buy you a coffee and ask 3 questions about your work?
Oh, that's so doable. And if you sit through that 30-minute tutorial and realize you're bored out of your mind?
Then you just saved yourself 2 years and thousands of dollars. You treat your life like a lab, not an exam room. In an exam, you have to get every answer right on the first try. In a lab, every unexpected result is just useful data.
A lab, not an exam room. Man, that shift right there takes away so much anxiety. Being lost isn't a test you failed, it's just an experiment in progress.
Exactly. You aren't falling behind and you didn't miss some secret manual for adulthood. You're just in the lab, trying out new directions until you find what fits.
And you know what the best part about treating life like a lab is? It completely changes how you feel about other people's opinions.
Oh, okay, hold on. That's actually a huge obstacle for me because whenever I want to try a new low stakes experiment, I stop myself. I think, what if my friends see me try this and then I give up after 2 weeks?
Right. We're terrified of looking inconsistent, aren't we? We think everyone is standing around with a clipboard, taking notes on our choices.
Yes, exactly. I'm constantly worried someone is going to ask, hey, what happened to that new project you were so excited about?
So here's a simple truth that helped me a lot. Most people aren't watching your life anywhere near as closely as you think they are. They're far too busy worrying about their own messy maps and their own messy closets.
That's honestly a bit humbling, but also incredibly liberating.
It really is. Nobody is judging your rough draft. And even if someone does ask, you can just smile and say, yeah, it was a cool experiment, but I got the data I needed and moved on. I got the data I needed and moved on. I love that. That sounds so confident instead of apologetic. Because you don't owe anyone an apology for exploring your own life. You're allowed to try things and put them down. You're allowed to change your mind.
Man, I feel like a genuine weight just lifted off my shoulders. So, if you're listening to us right now, wherever you are, sitting in traffic, taking a walk, or doing the dishes, what is one tiny, low stakes experiment you've been holding back on just because you were afraid of looking foolish?
Just think about that one thing today. You don't have to promise forever. Just give yourself permission to pencil it in.
You know, when I look back at the times I felt most lost in my life, I realized something kind of funny.
What's that?
None of those moments felt good while I was in them. Not a single one. I felt anxious, I felt behind. I kept asking myself why everyone else seemed to have it all figured out while I was just stumbling around in the dark.
Yeah, it really does feel like being in a dark room where you're just constantly bumping into furniture.
Exactly. But looking back now, those exact moments were actually the real turning points. They were the moments where I finally stopped living on autopilot. If I had never felt lost, I would have stayed on a path that wasn't even mine.
That's so true. So, in a weird way, feeling lost was actually one of the best things that could have happened to you?
In hindsight, absolutely. Because that discomfort is usually just your intuition telling you, hey, we've outgrown this place. It's time to move.
We've outgrown this place. Man, I love that. It takes away all the shame, doesn't it? You aren't failing, you're just growing.
Right. So if you're listening to us right now and you feel like you're standing in that foggy field, give yourself some credit. You aren't broken. You're just in between chapters.
And the next chapter doesn't need to be a bestseller right away. It just needs one simple line, one small step.
One small step. Just 50 feet in front of you.
I think I can handle 50 feet.
I know you can.
You know, before we finish today, I want to leave everyone with just 3 simple phrases we talked about. Because sometimes when you feel overwhelmed, having a few words to anchor yourself can make all the difference.
Oh, I love that. Which ones were sticking out to you?
The first one is 50 feet at a time. When the fog is thick and you can't see the full path, you don't need to. You just focus on the next 50 feet in front of you.
50 feet at a time. Yeah, that one completely changed how I felt about my week. What was the second one?
A low stakes experiment. Instead of making every life decision feel like a lifetime commitment, you just run a small, low risk test. You're just gathering data.
Right, like sampling cheese at the supermarket. You don't have to buy the whole wheel, you're just trying it out.
Exactly. And the third one, writing your choices in pencil. Giving yourself permission to erase, change direction, and rewrite without feeling like a failure.
Writing in pencil. That takes away so much of the fear. It reminds you that today is just a rough draft.
It really is. And if you're listening right now, sitting in your car, walking in the park, or doing chores at home, we'd love to know. What's one low stakes experiment you want to try this week?
Or even simpler, what's one expectation you need to erase from your map?
Take a moment today to think about that. You don't need all the answers right now. Just focus on your next 50 feet.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next conversation.
Take care, everyone.